Liam Smith versus Jimmy Kelly actually turned into a fairly entertaining fight, despite the fact that it was slightly one-sided. I scored Jimmy Kelly the first round. Apart from that, everything went in the way of Liam Smith until a stoppage in the 7th round. In the 7th round, Kelly kind of goes down apparently by exhaustion. He just seems to collapse to the canvas without a punch being thrown. And then, the referee goes over, doesn't call it a knockdown, which I suppose it isn't. He's just fallen over. Kelly gets back up, and then the towel comes in from Kelly's corner, and, Smith retains his belt by 7th round TKO, I suppose. Do you know what? I mean, this was competitive in spots. Effectively, Jimmy Kelly was a much bigger man, much taller, rangier man. Tried to move around, box on the back foot, tries to use the jab. The problem was he couldn't quite keep Liam Smith off him. Liam Smith was the much harder puncher, pressured him, pushed him back, got him up to the ropes, and then was teeing off with the much more heavy combinations and the much more effective inside work. In spells, Jimmy Kelly was doing quite well. He was catching Liam Smith a few times with the jab. Interestingly, he was able to land on multiple occasions with heavy power punches to the body. I mean, they weren't affecting Liam Smith negatively in this fight, but nevertheless, it was quite interesting how frequently he was able to catch Liam Smith to the body on his back foot. But, at this level, and let's be honest, this was a British title level fight rather than a world title level fight. At this level, we know that Liam Smith has got enough to win these sort of fights with quite a bit in hand. And he looked pretty superior throughout the course of this fight and ground out a stoppage in relatively impressive fashion. He's that archetypal presser fighter, who's stalking his opponent, hunting him down, pushing him back, landing the heavy shots, and really causing Jimmy Kelly problems. I guess my concern for Liam Smith, I know he's a world title holder who's now not only won the belt but had a defence, but I just wonder about Liam Smith at elite world title level, against names like Erislandy Lara, Demetrius Andrade, Miguel Cotto. I have a fear that Liam Smith can be outboxed. I have a fear that Liam Smith can be hit. And I think a really, really world-class mover who can jab and is perhaps a bit more heavy-handed than Jimmy Kelly is going to cause Liam Smith problems. Right now I'd pick Lara, I'd pick Andrade over Liam Smith. If you look at the way John Thompson was outboxing Liam Smith in their fight, and to be honest, if you look at some of the effectiveness Jimmy Kelly had tonight, even in a losing performance, you've got to think that a truly elite and proven world-class boxer who can move and jab on the back foot with a bit more power is going to cause Liam Smith problems. Because Smith isn't the biggest guy at the weight, he's not the best jabber at the weight, he's not got the best lateral movement out there. He's quite he's quite focused on trudging forward. Let's put it that way, perhaps. As for Jimmy Kelly, I often talk about on my channel, is it too much of a step up, without the necessary preparation? Tonight that was the case. He performed with credit. To be honest, the performance from him was good enough to not lose anything in defeat here. He can come again. He's still very young, but this was just too much of a jump up too soon. It might have been a more competitive fight if he'd had 2 or 3 British level fights, but he was still fighting 4-rounders last year, and that showed by the fact that he, almost fell unconscious due to exhaustion, just because he hadn't had the experience of these tough fights against the opponents who hit like that, or against the opponents who force that kind of pressure. You saw the panic signals from him in the 6th round where he lands one of the most deliberate headbutts you're likely to see in a professional ring. It was pretty strong, and he got 2 points deducted from that. And I just feel that with a bit more experience under his belt and with a few more decent prep fights, he could have put up more of a show. But fair play to him. He performed with credit, and there's still fights out there for him. His profile's rose now, and hopefully he can come back stronger from this. Liam Smith, he moves on. At this kind of level, we know that he's an effective fighter, The test is, what will he be like moving up in grade against a top 10 light middleweight? I'm keen to see that next year. I'm sure most people watching this video are keen to see it next year. Let me know your thoughts. How does Liam Smith do moving up in class? Many thanks for watching. I'm going to go because I want to watch the big fight. Thanks a lot.